Alright, it's me, vibing. First time I'm actually talking. I'm making the best My Hero Ultra Rumble tier list. And if you don't agree, leave your inferior opinion down in the comments below. Alright, you ready? Let's go. So the first character is Assault Deku. He's B tier. He's just alright. He could definitely use buffs. Probably give him his Gamma, his second Gamma at a lower level, but they haven't changed that. So he's B tier. He just does good damage, and that's all he has. Is good damage and decent mobility. That's why he's B tier. Then again, here's the first character. The next character, Strike Deku. He is B tier. He could be A tier or sometimes even S tier if you use the proper tuning, because you can do almost touch of death combos if you know how to use them properly. But because they require so much effort to pull off, then he's staying on B tier. He's not going any higher than that. Alright, next is Rapid Deku. Even after the nerfs, this man is still S tier. He can still dish out a lot of damage. He can still track you like there's no tomorrow. He's not the best character in the game. He's S tier, sure. But if you go up against a character who stays indoors or excels at close quarters, he falls apart. But his alpha is just ridiculously strong, so that's why he's still on S tier. Alright, next is Strike Bakugo. This man has gotten buffs every other season, and they have been stacking over time. He does so much damage and has good mobility now. Giving him a second Gamma is so strong. He's A tier because he can dish out so much damage. If you get caught lacking and he hits you with a full Gamma, like the complete spin, he will deal almost 280 damage. It is insane how much damage he can actually do. That's why he's A tier. Rapid Bakugo. Rapid Bakugo is also on the A tier. He's better than the Strike variant just because of how strong mobility is, and Rapid Bakugo still does so much damage. If you get hit with the Alpha a lot, he can destroy you. He's not S tier because there's just so many better options, and against AoE characters, he's not that good. But he's still up there. Ochako. Rapid Ochako has gone down so much in the tier list after her most recent nerf. She used to be S tier, but after her Gamma nerf on her Rapid variant, the Gamma never lands anymore. You're not landing the Gamma. It's not happening anymore. Because now that you can actually dodge it, it's not hitting you when you dodge it. So because of the nerfs to that Gamma, she has fallen very heavily off the tier list. Next is the Assault variant. The Assault variant can honestly be A tier, but also B tier. I would say she's better than Strike Bakugo. I wouldn't say she's better than the Rapid variant because he could just move a lot, but the Assault version of Ochako, her Gamma is still just as busted, and she can do a lot of damage. Even though they've nerfed her over time, the nerfs have never been too significant where she falls very heavily down the tier list. Alright, Iida's next. Even after the buffs, Iida's still not that good. He's better than Deku. I'll give him that. He's better than Assault Deku, but he's not up there in the tier list. Yeah, his buffs were incredible, but having 250 HP in this game is almost a death sentence with how much damage some of the higher tier characters can do on you in an instant. So while he can destroy someone if he catches them, he can still get destroyed fairly quickly just because of 250 HP. 250 HP hurts him way too much, considering he has to be in your face to do damage. Alright, now Strike, what's his name? Strike Todoroki. Even after the nerfs, this guy is still insane. He's still in the S tier. If anything, he also got a major buff when he got nerfed. They nerfed his beta from 210 to 160 damage at level 9, but they made his Gamma no longer knock you off when you jump off a ledge slightly. If anything, it even extends it even longer, so you can have a longer Gamma than normal, which is crazy because he already had good mobility because of how ridiculously short his Gamma was. But because of this, he's still an S tier. Get him hit with one Gamma guarantees you're getting guard broken, and there's nothing you can do about it. Next is the technical variant. Man, what a fall from grace this character has. He used to be one of the best characters in the game, but then they hit him with nerf, and more nerfs. His alpha does okay damage. The freeze got nerfed where it's only there for half a second before it's gone. The beta, well, it still does the same damage it used to the explosion. The hit is lower than it used to be. But the reason this character is so low on the tier list, like he's on B tier, oh, you could even put him on C tier and I wouldn't even argue with you, is because The newer characters pretty much one-shot his beta explosion. Not the explosion, the ice. So the ice can be destroyed so quick. That's why he's not up in the tier list up higher. If the beta got more health, he will be a lot higher because then you won't have to worry about it being destroyed every other hit. But a lot of times the beta just gets destroyed before it explodes, so you're not even doing the damage. And the explosion is really easy to dodge because if you know the timing, you're never getting hit by it unless you're in the air. If you're in the air, yeah, you're gonna take damage. You can't dodge it if you're in the air, but that's if you're in the air. Alright, next is Froppy. This character is not talked about enough. This character could be on S tier, but I'm gonna put her on A tier just because she has 250 HP. But the fact that she has insta-res and does so much damage is kind of nuts. And she's gotten buffed over time. Her invisibility, she's actually invisible now when she uses it. Before you could see her very clearly. And when you're invisible, you move faster. And because of the movement buffs, the universal ones, her alpha movement is now really good. She's one of the best characters in the game and could even be put on S tier. Oh, then put the Todoroki above the Rapid because he's technically still better. Alright, Assault Kirishima. Alright, man. I know he just got buffed. I know he really got buffed. I know he can do crazy damage. If you're a grounded character, this character could be like A or B tier. But if you can have any type of mobility, this man can't do nothing to you. Yeah, if he catches you on the floor, he will deal a lot of damage. But that's if he catches you on the floor. He doesn't have great mobility, and his damage, well, it can be crazy if he's able to pull it off. That's if you're on the ground. But like, because he has to constantly be on your face to deal damage, he sucks. Especially when we're in a meta where people can hit you from long range. Because he has mid mobility but high damage, he falls apart because he just can't do anything against any type of long range fighters. Or if they can fly. If they can fly, you can't do anything about it either. Alright, next is the Strike variant. This guy is still on the S tier. He has not gotten nerfed at all for some reason. This dude does so much damage and has insane amount of animation cancels. This guy can combo you and you can't do nothing about it because you're like, oh, he's doing a slam. Well, he can actually cut off the slam while he's slamming down to an alpha, so it doesn't even land on the ground. So while you roll it, he could also just cancel it and hit you with his alpha and then do a guaranteed combo off of that because you can do crazy amounts of combo with this character. The fact that this character still hasn't been nerfed whatsoever since release is nuts. If anything, he's gotten buffed over time because they keep buffing the special action. And they still haven't fixed the infinite special action glitch. It's still in the game for some reason. So if you go up against that, it's even worse because you can't do nothing about it unless you're playing as, what's his name? As a young All For One. But otherwise than that, he is still busted. So there's that. Now the next character I'm choosing is Momo. Momo is an A tier character, but she can be B tier, but she's A tier because her buffs in this season jumped her so much. I know that her cannons got nerfed, but her beta buff is so fast now that you can do guaranteed combos with it. Before, you used to have to use rapid Deku tuning to make it good, but because they changed that, she is really strong. She's one of the best characters in the game. She has good support and good at locking down areas. And if you happen to be close to her, she's going to deal a lot of damage. That's why she's A tier. The only thing that holds her back is that she has no mobility. If you have no mobility in this game, your character gets held back. It's just how it is, unfortunately, because power creep is a thing. Next is Strike Denki. Now this guy gets slept on a lot. Not enough people talk about him. But this dude, if you get stunned once and don't use the beta. If you use the beta after you stun somebody, you're not going to deal max damage. You don't use the beta for that. You use the beta mainly to do AoE damage or going through walls. That's the main reason you use the betas. But his alpha does so much damage, especially if you tune it. If you tune it correctly, he can do like 120. It's ridiculous. And because you get stunned once, you pretty much just explode and have to accept it. You can't do anything about it. Before, he used to have a touch of death combo, but they thank God they got rid of it. Before, he could stun you with his special action, then shoot you, then stun you with his gamma, and then do the combo again, and then you're just guaranteed dead. He can't do that anymore, but he used to be able to do it. But he's A tier just because he does so much damage. The only thing that stops him from being S tier is that his mobility is not the greatest either. I'm gonna put Wrapup Bakugo in front of this. I don't know why I put him there. There you go. Anyways, next is the technical variant. the technical variant is like B tier. Don't get me wrong, the technical variant has more use than the strike variant just because he's a lot easier to use. But if you go up against anyone who knows how to go up against this guy, he doesn't deal that much damage. Yeah, he can be annoying from long range with the sniper shots, and if you use your special action, I know some people still don't know this, you actually shoot faster with his alpha. It's easier to hit. It charges faster. But he got buffed this season, so his beta is back faster, but he just lacks good good damage. Like, he can be good if you know how to use him. Like, he can still do good damage. Like, the alpha is still a shotgun, but he just struggles to like go up against certain of the higher tiers in this characters. And if they have to use like buildings, then you can't hit them with your alpha. Or if they go behind slightly anything, you're not hitting them with the alpha. And it's very easy to dodge because it's like the second they see you, you're not gonna hit them most of the time. That's why he's there. All right, now Assault Kendo. This character could honestly be A tier to even S tier, but because she requires so much effort to use, like to actually be good with her, she's just not up there. Her alpha doing 140 damage and not hard knocking you down is nuts, because she could still hit you with one square attack from Shinso tuning, and you're just kind of screwed. But because that's really hard to pull off, and she has terrible mobility and an awful special action. Her special action also holds her back because it does nothing unless you want to pick up your teammate. It does nothing the entire time. That is why she's on the bottom of the tier list. She has 400 HP, which helps her survive a lot, and a great shield. But because she requires you to put so much effort to be good, she just isn't great in the higher tiers. And if you're up against certain characters, the shield doesn't matter. Like, for example, Ochako, her Gamma from both Ochakos can go through it. Or you're going up against an All For One, he can also just pick you up from it, and you have to dodge it. Or you're going up against a melee character. It doesn't work against melee characters. Alright, next is the strike variant. Okay, this character, even after the nerfs, she is still on the A tier. She is still up here. Yeah, she's gotten her combos removed. Yeah, no, not really. Her combos are still there. She has gotten her cooldowns reduced and some damage nerfs. But she still does so much damage. If she charges up her beta, if you like hit her at all when she uses her beta, you're taking like 200 and something damage. I think it's a guaranteed garbage. I'm not sure the exact numbers, but it's insane how much damage she actually does. And she can still use the Gamma. The spin is still ridiculous. It still does a lot of damage. Her alpha can, while it got nerfed, it still staggers you for a long time, and she could get closer to you and just combo you off of it if she knows what she's doing. The only reason this character is not on the S tier anymore is just because of the nerfs. That's it. But she is still ridiculous. Alright, next is Ibara. Alright, this character has jumped up to the A tier. I can't put her on anything higher than these other guys over here, mainly because she lacks mobility. But her Gamma buff has to be one of the best buffs I've ever seen in My Hero. She grabs you with her Gamma, she is healing herself completely. She is healing all her shields if she grabs you with her, and well, it depends on the level. If she has a max level, she's fully shielded up. And she can also heal herself too. So if she already has max shield, but not max health, she can heal herself. The only saving grace that doesn't put this character even higher is that she can't use the Gamma on the Storm. If she uses it in the Storm, it doesn't heal her. So you're probably dead if she grabs you in the Storm. That's just how it is. And if with certain tuning builds, it will one-shot even 300 HP characters with the Gamma. The Gamma is just really strong. There's like barely any punishment for missing since it doesn't have a cooldown if you miss. It only goes on cooldown when you grab. So you could just spam it again. If anyone gets close to Ibara, she destroys. And she has 2 revives, and they can go through walls. Those 2 revives are busted. If she's running Overhaul tuning, and then she could also run, what's his name? All For One tuning, she could get 1 down and get her 2 revives back. Which is nuts, because all the other revive characters in this game, other than Kurogiri, have to be near you to revive you instantly. She doesn't. She can do it through walls and across buildings. It's stupid, and it has huge range. It doesn't have crazy like the Kurogiri range, but it has huge range. That's why she's up here. She's not any higher on the tier list because her mobility is non-existent. So she's just not. Next is the Assault All Might. What a fall from grace this man has had. Used to be one of the best characters in the game, but unfortunately he still kinda sucks. He just has huge power creep. Him having 300 HP and his technical variant having more health than him is insane. The Assault variant should at best have 350 to 400 health. The fact that he has 300, while his other variant, the technical one, has higher one and has better mobility and better damage and better defensive capabilities than the assault variant, that makes no sense. This guy, if I were to buff him, I would make his beta attack faster, or they could also make it where if you don't hit anyone with it, it could be like the rapid variant where he just goes further in the sky. They could also do that to him, or just make the animation quicker for the punch, because a lot of times the punch just misses even though you landed the beta. His gamma is still good. His alpha, if you hit direct shots, it will do a lot of damage, but he just doesn't have enough ammo. They need to increase his ammo at least a little bit. Alright, now is the rapid variant. Let me just put him up here. He is S tier. I wouldn't say he's better than the other S tiers here, maybe like mainly because to do his damage, he has to get close to you. Yeah, his alpha can do a lot of damage from long range, but you can't see as easily, and it puts you almost stationary. So against a lot of characters, you're kind of forced to eat damage to use his abilities. Yes, he has some of the best mobility in the entire game. I agree on that. I can understand if you don't, but he has some of the best mobility ever. The only downside is his gamma, when you try to grab somebody with it, a lot of times you get staggered out of it before you hit the grab, so you miss, even though you landed it sometimes, but because you don't have any type of armor when you go with that gamma, you can very easily get interrupted out of it, unless you land the grab. If you land the grab, you get armor, so yeah, unless you're up against like a all-for-one who could just gamma you out of it from his teammate, the gamma does a lot of damage, and if you have certain tuning, like I've used before, you can deal 250 damage being a guaranteed guard break. The only thing that stops this character from being in the top of the list, how you can put this guy in A tier, is the fact that all his attacks have weaknesses. They all force you to stand still when you land him. They all force you to go for an aggressive play to land him. His alpha makes you stand still. His gamma, if you miss, you're kind of screwed most of the time. His beta, if you land it on someone, you can sometimes whiff it even though it lands on them, and then just do like 10 damage. That can happen. But he is still really strong. He's one of the best characters in the game easily. Next is Armored All Might. Alright, this guy is like, honestly, he might be number one. He might be better than Nagant, just because he's so much easier to use than Nagant. You don't have to be good with this character. All you have to do is use your gamma, hold down the gamma whenever you see someone, and then just melt them off with your aimed in alpha, and there's nothing they can do about it, and it's going to do stupid damage, because this character has not gotten nerfed. They reduce his HP by 50, and that's it. Nothing else. This guy needs heavy nerfs. He's one of the most broken characters ever added. It is dumb that this guy still has not gotten any type of nerfs. He basically destroys 90% of the cast. They can't do nothing against him most of the time. And he has some of the best mobility in the game for some reason, which makes no sense. His special action needs nerfs. His alpha damage, the afterburn, needs nerfs. His beta needs damage nerfs. And his gamma needs a range nerf. The fact that this guy can hit you from so far away is insane. He has the best long range stun in the game. He has 3 long range stuns. I do not know what they were thinking with this character. Alright, the next character is Cementoss. Even after his recent buffs, he's still like he's still down here. The only reason like he's not even higher is just because power creep unfortunately exists. This guy just he needs better buffs. I mean, to be fair, he could do really well if he's like a good player. He can build like crazy, but against a lot of characters, he can just take so much damage. As being in the air, like at least building up, isn't as much as an advantage as it used to be, because so many characters can be in the air. For example, Armored All Might, Rapid All Might, Deku, they can hit you from up there, and then like other characters like AoEs, for example, like All For One and Todoroki, they can still hit you off of that. So while he's good, it has, he still has an instant revive, and recently got changed, so you no longer get trapped inside the thing, which is like, I guess is good. So he's good. The only downside is just power creep, unfortunately. A lot of the characters are just really good against him, though a really good one could be insanely difficult to deal with. And he can stun you with his gamma, then do an alpha combo. His beta got buffed recently, but the buff doesn't do as much as you would think. It's only good for healing yourself if you're in a corner, but that's it. The only reason he's not, well, I guess I could put him higher here. He's definitely higher than some of these other characters here. I could put him here. He's not up there just because he just isn't good enough, unfortunately. Alright, next is Mount Lady. Right, Mount Lady. Mount Lady is one of the worst characters in the game. Some might argue that she is the worst character in the entire game, which is not true. It is just not. Not true. I mean, it is true almost. Unless you're playing in a casual lobby. If you're playing in a casual lobby against people who don't play this game that much, she can feel, I guess, strong in her giant form. But if you're in a rank lobby in the higher tiers and you go giant, you're gonna get jumped immediately by multiple teams. Most people are not gonna let you use that giant transformation. She can do good damage, but she has to be close. Her beta, which gives her mobility, isn't good enough because she only has 2 charges. We live in an era where 2 charges is not enough to get away from half of the characters that come out now. So because of that, she unfortunately is down here. Alright, next is Strike Shigaraki. This guy is in the A tier. The only reason he is not S tier is because he doesn't have enough HP and cannot deal with any type of air characters. If you're up against someone who's on the ground and can't go high up, he will destroy you. Or if you happen to be inside a building. If you happen to fight this guy inside a building, you need to leave. If this guy has his beta at level 9, you can't do nothing to stop it. It is literally a domain expansion, and that's exactly what it is. So because he can pretty much destroy anyone indoors, and he can lock down entire areas, it's why he's A tier. The only reason he is not S tier is because he cannot deal with air characters, and his mobility isn't the greatest. Though I guess he has 2 special actions now for mobility, which helps him out a lot. If this was before the special action buffs, he would probably be like B to C tier. But because of his good mobility now, at least decent, he's up here in the A tier. Though he got nerfed for some reason. They should put the 350 HP back on this guy, because he still has to stay on the ground. He can't do anything about it. And he can't hit air characters whatsoever. Alright, next is the Assault variant. Now, the Assault variant is honestly S tier. This character, especially after his recent buffs, can do so much damage on someone and you just can't do nothing about it. You're just forced to eat it because he stuns you. It is insane. He can also combo insanely well with other characters in this game because he's staggering you for combo potential. But because he has to be a little bit accurate to do his damage, that's why he's not higher on the tier list. He could be like up here if he could deal better with air characters, but against air characters, a lot of his attacks fall apart. Honestly, you could put him on A tier, like high A tier. High tier? Yeah, honestly, high A tier is better than S tier just because he can't deal with the other characters. Though his recent buffs have made his alpha pretty much really easy to land, has insane range now compared to before, and his beta does good damage, and his gamma now has more mobility than before. Though, I guess if you mess up your combos, you can mess it up now because of the gamma launching you further, but if you know what you're doing, you could cancel the animation mid-dash and hit a beta. As long as you got good accuracy, he is really strong. Alright, next is the technical variant. Alright, this is a really easy S tier. I don't think anyone will disagree with me on this. This character, honestly, if they nerfed his raid boss build, the revenge tunings, he would drop down to like A tier. But the fact that all his attacks deal so much damage is insane. His alpha does like, I think like 160 at max level. I'm not sure. It could be like 140. I'm not sure if I'm misremembering this. And it goes through walls, and he has wall hacks. And his wall hacks also tell you how much health somebody has. It tells you their shields and their health for some reason. I don't know why that's a thing. And because of that, that's insane. And then his beta is one of the easiest attacks to land in the entire game, dealing like 210 damage when you have it at max level. And if you land like in the air, if you hit them in the air, it still does the full damage for some reason. He doesn't actually have to land the slam on you, but if you touch him in the air, he will deal the max damage for some reason. His gamma is also one of the best healing abilities in the entire game. He heals so much on himself. Even if you don't have the revenge tuning, it is still really strong because you get it back at 100% in like 2 seconds. It is not very difficult to do that. As long as you land an alpha or beta, you can get it back. Alright, Tech Dabi. This character is A tier. A lot of people are like, what? Did I put him down on C tier or B tier? This character gets so much slander when he's one of the best defensive characters in the entire game. Especially now after his recent alpha buffs. This character does not miss his alphas. If you're in the air and you can't roll them out, you're getting hit. You're not dodging it. You're just getting hit. And if you happen to be any type of buildings, your beta and gamma will deal crazy amounts of damage. Your gamma is good for blocking projectiles and also good for dealing a lot of damage, and then they can eat a melee combo after you land the gamma. You can also just beta them all around you. A lot of characters that rely on punching you, like Wrapup and Deku, for example, or Tokoyami, they can't do nothing about it. Or characters have to be close quarters to deal their damage. Or like, for example, like Rapid All Might. Rapid All Might can't do much against this guy. They just can't. The only reason this character isn't higher is because his alpha doesn't do a lot of damage, and he has to be indoors, and he has to require you to be good and have a lot of knowledge in the game to know how to use him. But he's really good, at least compared to what some people make him out to be. He is nowhere near the bottom of the tier list in this game. Alright, Strike Dabi. Strike Dabi's on the C tier. He's also a contender for one of the worst characters in the entire game. The only reason this character isn't talked about as much is because his beta still does good damage and his alpha does good damage, but he loses health just for activating his gamma. This mechanic is outdated and should not be in the game, because by that logic, Rapid Deku should lose health, or at least mobility like Iida for using his gamma when he runs out of it, but he doesn't. Losing HP, while it's lore accurate, it doesn't matter anymore because of how much, like, your HP matters a lot more now, especially when people like Nagant can pierce through it. And because of that, this guy is all the way in the bottom. Also, his beta is still super buggy, so a lot of times there's a 50-50 chance whether or not you land it. When you land it, you're kind of wide open to eat a bunch of damage from pretty much any other character in the game. Because of that, he's at the bottom, and he can't deal very well with high mobility characters. That's it. That's why he's in the bottom. That Tech Toga. This character is A tier. Honestly, you might even be able to put her on S tier, and I wouldn't even blame you. This character's stupid. This character has really good mobility now, like insane mobility now for the fact that she can transform into other characters. Her beta has good mobility and fantastic damage. Her alpha, if you have good accuracy, will melt at any level. No matter what level, it will melt if you're able to hit your shots with that alpha, because it doesn't have any type of knockdown. And her gamma, giving her 2 charges at all levels, she could just get it a lot easier, and it's a lot more accurate than before. So because of that, she's in the A tier, and transformation, removing your cooldowns is still really overpowered. Alright, next is the Rapid variant. The Rapid variant is also on the A tier. She's not better than her technical variant, because her technical variant has 350 HP. I forgot to include that. She got buffed recently to get 350 HP for some reason. The only reason her Rapid variant isn't any higher is because she has 250 HP, and her combos, like, I don't know, honestly, I guess you could put her lower than here. You could put her like down here. You can put her over here or down here. You can also put her in B tier, to be honest. Hang on, put her on B tier. Is because her mobility is not that good anymore. Yeah, she still has a crazy amount of combos, but her gamma is an outdated mechanic. She doesn't get launched any type of distance with it. Though she still does a lot of damage. Her beta and gamma does a lot of damage. Beta, you can do the beta alpha gamma combo, and that's still almost a guaranteed guard break. I'm pretty sure it is a guaranteed guard break if it's all leveled up. So because of that, she's on B tier, and she can also cancel her cooldowns, but 250 HP holds you back so much in this game because of the current high damage meta that we currently have. Only reason Froppy is up here is because, insta revives and high mobility is really good and high damage. Alright, next is Mr. Compress. This guy was S tier for 1 season, and then they removed his S tierness right away. His alpha knocks you down so quick now that a lot of times you're not even able to get a guard break before the alpha stops working. Though he does counter Armored All Might and what's her name, Nagant, with his beta. His beta buffs have been really strong, and not enough people talk about it. The fact that he can jump with his beta, if you have space off, you can just block with it, and you could also just the reflected damage is also multiplied. Before it was not, but now it is, which is kind of crazy. Instead of being like 110, for example, say you reflect Rapid Bakugo's alpha, it used to do like 110, now it does like 180. It's kind of nuts. When you reflect something, it does a lot of damage now. Aizawa, this character is all the way up here in the tier list. He could honestly be put on S tier, and I would not argue with you. His alpha doing so much damage, especially if you jump, and because of the mobility buffs, the universal ones, his alpha no longer staggers in place basically when you use it, like when you jump and use it. The fact that you get your alpha back every time you do a beta in the air is kind of stupid because it kind of stops him from going on cooldown. And his special action, you can use it for half a second and then just alpha them. You don't actually have to hold it down. That's just a lie. That's not a lie. That's just a misunderstanding a lot of people have. This character can do so much damage and combos with pretty much every character in the game because of the alpha and then just gamma them. Strike Endeavor. I want to say Strike Endeavor is B tier. This character, I know they recently did a buff, like it's supposed to be a buff, but it's more of a nerf if you had good accuracy before. But he just does alright damage and has alright mobility. That's it. He's just, that's all he has to him. He's not really the greatest, he's not really the worst, he's just okay. Next is the Assault variant. I know that he got nerfed recently, but this character still does so much damage if you have good accuracy and if you don't miss your beta. If you don't miss your beta, that is almost still a death sentence because you're kind of trapped in a ring of fire while he can throw a gamma in there. And the alpha afterburn has not been nerfed whatsoever. He is still up here in the tier list. A lot of people might put him lower because of his recent nerfs. I know a lot of people see nerfs and stop using a character. That happens a lot. But this guy is still insanely strong. That has not changed. Alright, next is Twice. Yeah, you know, down here. I don't think I have to explain why. He's a contender for one of the worst characters in the entire game. Honestly, they just need to buff this character. Probably give him a second clone or something. Next is All For One. All For One, he's A tier. He's pretty good. He could honestly be S tier if he has certain quirks. If he has like a rapid Mirio or a technical Mirio quirk, he jumps to S tier. But this character, he's just strong. He's good against the meta because he can technically adapt to it as long as he has a proper quirk on him. So he's A tier, and especially after his buffs last season, where you could direct his beta and you can also control the what's it called? The beta direction, and also the alpha damage is pretty good. All right, yeah, he's just all around good. Next is a Young All For One. Young All For One is in the B tier. He's one of the most balanced characters in the game, I guess you could say. He doesn't have the strongest mobility. He doesn't have the greatest damage, but he's good. Also, his special action, being able to stop other special actions, isn't used enough for some reason. But if you stop a lot of characters from using their special actions, for example, Aizawa or Rapid Deku, or no, not Rapid Deku, or Kirishima, or Armored All Might, like you can cancel them from being able to run away and stuff like that. This special action is not used enough, and like Overhaul, you can stop the healing. All For One, you can stop him from switching. You can do a lot of good stuff with it. But this character just suffers from a lot of his attacks being kind of dodgeable. And if you play on PlayStation or Xbox, the aim assist screws you over with the alpha because you're not able to land a splash damage. But if you land the splash damage, he can be pretty good. His beta does good damage. Unfortunately, for some reason, the beta doesn't hit in the air. But what's her name? What's her name? I can't remember her name. But Nagant, yeah, Nagant. But Nagant can for some reason, but he can't. He should be able to do it. His beta should do more damage if it hits you in the air, but it doesn't. But because of that, he's down here. He would, if he got buffed, he could go up to A and S tier, but because he's not getting any type of buffs, he's staying here in the B tier. Alright, Rapid Mirio. Also going into B tier. This character could be really easy to deal with or really hard to deal with. Luckily for us, he has 225 HP, so he gets held back drastically by that. Though, if you go up against a good Mirio, you will take a lot of damage, because a lot of good Mirios know how to do his combos properly, and they will just deal good damage. And if All For One happens to steal Mirio's quirk, All For One jumps to S tier. Alright, next is the technical Mirio. I'm not putting him there, my bad. He's S tier. The only reason he is not top tier, like best character in the game, is because his damage is not high enough. And if he misses his gamma, he gets cooked immediately. And his beta kind of makes him easy to eat damage if he misses it too. Only thing that saves him from putting him in S tier is the fact that all his abilities give him some type of invulnerability. If he didn't get that, he would be lower on the tier list. Alright, next is Overhaul. He's B tier. He's like mid B tier. He could, if he got buffed, he could be better. I feel like they should buff his alpha, at least to knock down as easily. And then his beta, honestly, they should revert the damage nerfs they did to it a while ago. They nerfed it a while back, and they never buffed it back. And He's B tier just for the simple fact that if he has all for one tuning and gets one down, he is healing himself right away. So because of that, he's in the B tier. Alright, next is the Assault variant. Well, he's not even out yet. From what I've seen, he looks like he's A tier to S tier, but because he's unreleased, I'm just leaving him down here. Alright, Hawks, Rapid Hawks, you're going down the C tier. Rapid Hawks, he's okay. He kind of sucks. I'm gonna be for real with you. If you want to use Hawks, just use the Strike variant. The Strike variant is just better. Rapid Hawks just doesn't do enough anymore. He needs better mobility to be a rapid character. Alright, next is the Strike. Strike is A tier. This character does so much damage and so much combos. They buffed him, and a lot of people have. I've been seeing him a lot more now. So a lot of people have been realizing how strong he actually is. So because of that, he's A tier. He can do so much damage and can combo really well with his teammates too. Alright, next character on the list is Present Mike. Now I'm not putting him down here. Oops. He is A tier. You could honestly put him on S tier, but because his mobility isn't the best, he's just not staying up there. He is A tier because he can pretty much destroy you if you're close to him and he betas and gammas you. You're getting obliterated. That's a guaranteed guard break. And his alpha, if he has the special action on the ground, he will melt you with it. Hell, you could still put him on S tier, and I would not blame you. The only reason I'm not putting him up there is because the characters right now in S tier have so much better mobility than him, and he just can't catch them. Alright, next is Technical Nejire. She's B tier. She's okay. Honestly, I don't even use her that much at all. I think she's one of the most boring characters in the entire game when it comes to playstyle. So she's B tier. She's alright. She has decent mobility and decent damage. Now, the support variant, on the other hand, is A tier to S tier. She is the best true support in the entire game. If she's near her team, she can pretty much fully heal them. For example, let's say she has a Rapid Deku on her team, and Rapid Deku is like doing a square attack combo on you. She can shoot her alpha shots at you, and the splash AoE on it is healing her teammates. And she healed a lot very quickly. Her beta also heals her, and is really easy to land, the explosion. Her gamma is just free shields, free overshields for her entire team. And also if you're playing Mirio and Tamaki, you get buffs. You get extra buffs. For example, the tech one gets a longer counter, and the rapid one, his beta, you go super fast with it. And then Tamaki gets an instant Kamehameha. Alright, next is Kurogiri. Kurogiri is in the B tier. Honestly, he got nerfed recently, and it nerfed his damage dramatically. Only reason he's not even lower is because of the fact that he can still teleport you across the game. He can still do that. If you go up against a Kurogiri that knows how to teleport you into the storm, like really far into it, and you happen to be playing someone like, oh, I don't know, like Todoroki down here, you're screwed. Or if you don't have the best mobility, you're just screwed. And in late game, Storm can pretty much kill you. And he still has one of the best revives in the entire game, though it's not as good in the late game. Alright, next is Shinso. Shinso is like, honestly, he's still in the A tier. He's not bad at all. Like, he got nerfed, but the nerf didn't really do much other than stop his beta from comboing. That's it. That's really much his only big nerf. Everything else is still fine. He still does good damage. He still stuns you for 10 million years. His Brainwash still makes you drop your revive card and your team heals, and that's even more important now considering the new type of team heals they added with Nejire support. So yeah, he's one of the best characters right now. I don't know why he doesn't get used as much, because he still does so much damage and has great stunning potential. He stuns a lot. Alright, Monoma, B tier. Yeah, they gave him 300 HP recently, but basically everyone has a Sisterly active when you're using this character. So it's like everyone has Prime Sisterly, so a lot of your damage does nothing. You're basically doing no damage when using your special action. Unless you're using like an attack that does high tier damage, you're basically doing like 50 damage most of the time when it comes to your attacks. Tamaki, even after the nerfs, he is still A tier. He can still stun you, especially now with Nejire. If he has Nejire on his team, he can do the gamma pretty much instantly, and that does a lot of damage, and it'll last for a while. The only thing that's holding him back from being any higher anymore is because they nerfed his damage quite a bit. Alright, next is Tokoyami. Now, I know a lot of people might not agree with me on this, but Tokoyami's on the A tier. He could honestly be S tier. He has fantastic mobility, some of the best mobility in the game. When you use your special action, that mobility is insane. Also, you can heal yourself while you're in the air, which is nuts. Other characters can technically do that, but not as easily as he can. And when he heals himself in the air, you kind of can't stop him. Because a lot of times you can't even tell he's healing himself. It just looks like he's in the air. And if you happen to be playing a character that doesn't have long range attacks, they can't stop him from healing. Also, his melee damage is really high. His alpha does okay damage. His beta is really good at stunning people. And his gamma, the shield, if you know how to use the shield, you can block pretty much 90% of the attacks in the game. And then just get rid of it right away. You basically use the shield as a way to protect yourself for 1 second. And now, I know Nagant isn't here for some reason. I just realized she isn't. Alright, pretend Overhaul is Nagant, right? Pretend Overhaul is Nagant. Nagant will be all the way up here, right? Pretend Overhaul is Nagant. Nagant is stupid. She has some of the highest damage in the game. It is dumb. She has not gotten nerfed at all for some reason. If she gets nerfed, she would be one of she would drop down a couple tiers, like maybe A or B. But the fact that her alpha does guaranteed pierce and guaranteed not guaranteed pierce, yeah, it does guaranteed pierce. And the fact that it's long range, which is stupid, it should not be long range. Every other character that does any type of HP damage to you has to get close to you, but she doesn't. Also, her beta is really easy to land and stuns you, really easy to get a snipe off of it. And her gamma has too much mobility for a character that good. And she could also use the square attack and then gamma you to deal a lot of damage. It's basically a shotgun. And also the special action is still broken. 350 damage without any type of tuning is way too high and it needs to get nerfed. So yeah, this is my tier list. I know some of you might disagree. If you disagree with anything, leave something in the comments below. Maybe I'll agree with you when you say something. But this is the tier list I see. Remember, don't forget that Overhaul up here is only supposed to be Nagant. That's not actually the real Assault Overhaul. That's Nagant. Don't think that's actually Overhaul, because he's not even out yet. Alright, so yeah, this is my tier list. This can change, because, you know, buffs and nerfs happen every other month, I guess. And yeah, this is my definitive tier list. This is what I consider to be the definitive tier list. Alright, I guess thanks for watching. Bye.